One thing that players often overlook is the misuse of a legend. A lot of players build habits on a legend, and oftentimes those can hurt your gameplay without you realizing it. And it's not the fault of the player. Most of the time people don't even realize that these are bad habits. So hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8 Second Gaming, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down one mistake for every legend in Apex. But, these mistakes may end up taking a bad habit out of your game, but if you are looking to build up good habits, you need to check out the GameLeap website. Over there we have top level coaches creating the best guides, all so that you can become the best Apex player that you can possibly be. By studying these courses, you will see drastic improvement in your gameplay and start to actually climb into the ranks that you desire. So if you're looking to hit Diamond, Masters, or even Predator, click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, or I'll take the batteries from your controller. Okay, but now, mistakes. Let's kick things off with Ashe. Ashe is a super strong legend in the game currently. She offers a ton to a team, and with that information, I don't see enough people abusing it. People often make the mistake of not reading her passive correctly and just not caring about it. You have a free outline of the map telling you where everyone is fighting, letting you know what the hot areas of the map are so that you can plan a better rotation. So if you're an Ashe main, please start paying more attention to your maps. It will save you a lot more. Next up though, we have Bangalore. Now the very common thing that Bangalore's here is that you want to smoke the enemy team and not your own team if you can help it. But this tip can actually hurt some Bangalore players in certain cases. If you're fighting a team and you beam one of them and then you want to push, don't smoke the enemy. This will give them cover to heal or back off without you seeing them. When possible, you always want to have these sight lines of your enemies, so if you don't have to, then don't smoke. Moving on though, we have Bloodhound and Seer. I'm putting these two characters in here because the people who play them make the same mistakes. And the players who main these legends often get over-reliant on the scans. They need these in order to track enemies in fights, and if they get put onto another character, they are lost in the sauce. The scans are nice, but don't over-rely on them, or you'll lose out on valuable game sense in the future. Next up though, we have Gas Daddy. Now Caustic is a great legend for stalling pushes, but I see a lot of people scared to throw barrels down in fights because they can be broken easier. And while that is true, throwing a barrel down mid-fight causes your enemy to swap off of you and on the barrel, giving you time to heal quickly, potentially get away, or even pop out onto them getting the first shot. Never ever underestimate the power of barrels. Next up we have Crypto. Now this one may seem a little no-duh-ish, but the mistake that crypto players make all the time is letting the drone get destroyed too easily, especially in endgame. The EMP is such a strong ability and oftentimes is needed to win those endgame circles as a crypto player, so you can't be wasting your drone to see stuff that you may already know. If you already know where every team is, you'll know where you need to position your drone at the end of the game. It's not worth risking it being destroyed, so stop sending it into the middle of a firefight for no reason. Now for Fuse players, they often run the wrong types of weapons on him. I know that everyone likes to use their favorite guns in Apex, but Fuse benefits greatly from guns that take only 1 to 2 stacks of ammo maximum. Something like a Wingman PK is a solid combo, has great killing potential, but also allows him more space in the backpack to carry grenades. Dropping 1 stack of ammo allows him to carry 2 more nades, so with the right combo you can be carrying up to 6 more grenades potentially, giving you a lot more flexibility in fights and really using his passive to its maximum. Next up though, we have Gibby, and Gibby is kind of the same idea as Fuse. I see a lot of people run him and not use a shotgun. Shotties are a must-have for bubble fighting. They are the kings of bubble fights, and if you really want to win them, you have to use a shotgun. So I get that you might like using an SMG or something else, but really drop that, pick up a PK and just run that. But now we have Moon Mommy, and Horizon has an incredibly strong ultimate that can win a lot of fights on its own. But I see players wait too long to use it. They try to pull some Valorant, CSGO type lineups and wait for the perfect opportunity to use the ultimate. And that opportunity often never comes. This ultimate is so strong that as long as it's near the enemy team, it will work perfectly fine. So stop wasting time and just throw it. Next up though, we have Lifeline, and normally I would have saved this joke for Mirage, but this season sadly it isn't a joke, and your mistake here is just playing Lifeline. Right now, Lifeline's in a really bad spot. She just got phased out super hard, and unless we see a rework coming soon, you're better off swapping to Gibby or Newcastle. And I know it sounds a little harsh to tell somebody to actually swap off their main, but right now she's just not useful in the meta, and Newcastle or Gibraltar will offer your team so much more and you'll be playing a lot better on them. Now for Loba, she offers a lot of flexibility in looting potential. Most of the time players need to over loot areas before they can go to an endgame spot, and that can cause them to be late and not get the building or area that they wanted. But if you're playing Loba, you can always get loot later in the game without risking anything, so don't make the mistake of over looting. Leave some stuff behind and book it to endgame, especially in this season where placement matters so much. You'll get a lot more out of Loba this way. Moving on though, we have Mad Maggie, and Maggie is such a fun character to play, but the mistake that I see people making on her is using a riot drill to stop someone rezzing behind a door. While that will cause them to back off it most of the time, you are better off throwing your ultimate at them. The Wrecking Ball breaks doors and then will also CC the character that's behind the door, plus with the speed boost that you get from it, you will be on top of them lightning fast and can save the riot drill then to cut off an escape potentially. But now we have Mirage, and for you guys, the mistake that you need to break is not understanding how to counter Mirage. There are so many ways to tell what the real Mirage is, and not a lot of Mirage mains actually know those ways. They then leave themselves open to those counters and die in fights because of it. So take some time to learn how your own character gets countered and you'll survive a lot more in fights. Next up, we have the Season 13 addition to the game, Newcastle. This guy's ultimate allows a lot of areas that were previously bad now be playable. But the issue that most of you fall into is not using your ultimate enough. This ultimate charges very fast, so if you're getting shot, use the ultimate and get a break. Stop dying when you have your ultimate. I've seen it happen quite a lot in lower ranks actually. But now for Octane, a lot of Octane players overdo the stim big time because they just get carried away. As an Octane player, you should never be dipping below 50% health when stimming. It just leaves you too open, and if a fight starts, you're spending the first few seconds of it healing instead of fighting with your team. Just ease up on the stim a little bit. Now for Pathfinder, his grapple is a lot of fun, but you have to stop using it to engage fights. The only time that you should be using it offensively is to chase down a kill or to grapple on top of someone who's behind cover healing after they just got lasered. If you grapple into a fight, you're leaving your team behind and you're stuck in the middle of 3 people now with no escape tool, and you will probably die. So stop grappling into teams. And in Season 13, a legend that is now actually pretty good is Rampart, but with that, a lot of people are making mistakes on her because they're just getting onto her. And one that I see them do a lot that gets them killed is over-reliance on Sheila. The minigun is cool and it does a lot of damage, but it leaves you very open in a lot of cases. So when you're using Sheila, make sure your team can protect your side flanks or have cover nearby that you can dip into if needed. I've killed a lot of Rampart players this season that just pull Sheila out and think that they're unstoppable, and I just shoot them from the side because they can't really do anything about it. So stop dying that way, play around cover. And now for Revenant, I don't see enough people using his passive in fights. You get so much speed from it when crouching, it makes your strafing a lot better. So in fights, if you crouch, your hitbox is then smaller and you're faster. It makes a ton of sense to crouch in fights as Revenant, and I don't get why people don't do it to begin with. So now that you know, start crouching in fights. Next up we have Valk, and Valk did see some nerfs at the start of the season so that she can't spin freely in the air as she flies up. But what hasn't changed with her skydive is that you can still use emotes when flying, and I don't really see people do this outside of pro play. The skydive emotes change your hitbox, and with some of them you're flying all over the place. This makes you very hard to hit and will save a lot of you when flying. Now for Wattson, her generator is a great ability and it gives players a huge buffer zone in fights. But an issue that I see a lot of Wattson players make is they really just don't know where to put the gen down. Sometimes in the heat of a battle, they're taking time to scope out the perfect spot for it. Wattson gets her generator back insanely quickly with ult excels that you should be carrying as her. So don't worry too much where you put it, just slap it down, and if you have to, use it as cover in a fight. This has saved me countless times as a Wattson player, and I'm sure it'll save some of you as well. Now lastly we have Wraith, and I still see a lot of people complain about the time it takes for her tactical to go off, and the main mistake for you is that you pop it too late. If you're dying while activating the phase, you waited too long in a fight and got punished for it. You just overpeaked, that's all. It's a very simple fix, and now you know to just do it sooner, and that will save you a lot in fights. But there you guys have it, one mistake for every legend in the game. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did and you want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming, and I will see you in the next one.